Hi, Maria. And so I have Dr. Maria Nigam with us, who's joined in from San Francisco. She's our torchbearer, second time around. The first time was, Maria, in September of 2020. You came on the 20th episode of season 1. And today we are doing you season 2, 16th episode. And welcome. And I cannot thank you enough for being our guest today, Dr. Maria Nigam.
Thank you, Deepa. Such a pleasure to be here with you again. And the thank you is from PRANA for really being our voice for us way back in September when we first started. And here we are today celebrating our 11th month birthday of this baby that we delivered last July. And really very grateful for you to showcase now PRANA 2.0, as I want to call it.
So, Maria, at that time, the focus was on plasma donation. I think that a lot of work happened in creating awareness around plasma donation in the first round of PRANA. Am I right?
That's right. That's right. We really worked hard to motivate and encourage plasma donations all the way from July. And I'm happy to say that we have possibly helped more than 1,000 recipients with over 500 plasma donors coming forward so selflessly after their recovery. But on May 17th, the ICMR passed some guidelines where plasma was dropped from off-label use. And as a result, we have halted plasma donation. But in this not new avatar, I would say, we were always motivating our donors all the way from last September who were not eligible to donate plasma to donate blood and platelets. And this request actually came from the donors. They said, "Doctor, if we can't donate plasma, please allow us to save lives with PRANA in some other way." So all the way from September, we were facilitating blood and platelet donations. But in December, we had a little January, we had an ebb in COVID, and we were happy to have partnered with the Save a Life project of Tata Memorial Hospital. And that was the birth of the Gift, Love and Life project to encourage blood and platelet donations for cancer patients at Tata Memorial Hospital and Pan-India for anybody who needs it.
Amazing. So even, for you, in this journey when COVID struck, you completely pivoted from what you were doing earlier to full-fledgedly come into creating PRANA. So maybe for our viewers, you want to tell them a little bit about, you a medical doctor, had paused and you were doing other things, and then this became a reason for you to catapult back into the world of supporting the cause of patients again and healthcare again.
Yes. Actually, for the last 17 years, it has been a voluntary contribution to facilitating positive public health changes. And when COVID arrived, it was no different, except that I had this middle of night call for a bag of plasma, and it took a whole 3 to 4 hours to somehow push all the buttons and organize it, and something ticked and said, "You got to do more now." And so PRANA was born to make the availability of plasma universal and easy for the recipients, because many of the family members struggling for this bag of plasma themselves were asking for it from a hospital bed. So we just felt the need to reduce this stress, make it easy. If it is meant to work, it was, or it is and always is in off-label mode, and had been repositioned to help patients. So we thought, if it is a modality of therapy that can help, here we are to make it available to anyone who needs it.
So, Maria, the plasma treatment was also a valid treatment in the first round, and now is it? What has changed? I mean, it would for lay people to understand why suddenly there is this change that they don't want us to do plasma anymore.
Uh, well, a group of plasma has been used since uh, uh, over 100 years. You have to understand that it's a very practical method of helping a patient battle an infection. When we get infected, our body's immune response mounts up and produces what is called antibodies to help you fight a disease. Now, the antibodies from a patient recovered from COVID were going to be used in their plasma to help someone who's struggling from it. So, uh, and it was something that was available from donors. And also, we had guidelines that high titer plasma had to be used early in the course of the disease.
Okay.
Now, in the month of May, ICMR scientists, doctors formed an advisory panel and somehow felt that plasma is not doing as much as it should, or perhaps high titer plasma is not being made available or not being made available early and being given to the wrong category of patients. So and they also referred to a placid trial which was done, but they do accept themselves in the paper that it had inherent flaws because
Oh,
not all bags of plasma in the placid trial were high titer. So,
okay.
it's wrong to think that such a trial should have influenced changing therapy. Nevertheless, we have to respect the
Sure,
ICMR and their guidelines.
sure.
And for prana, I have to say, and I was discussing with another blood bank chief yesterday, we just have glorious lines of gratitude for our recipients. I think almost 95 to 98% of our recipients saying they went home healed. It's their testimonials are all on our Instagram page, and we are still asked, why the sun set on prana plasma when it actually helped save so many lives. But uh, we wait for emerging guidelines, perhaps, that will bring plasma back as a therapeutic modality. But until then, here we are with gift, love, and life. Your blood can save up to 3 lives with your donation. So come on board and help Prana save lives with blood and platelet donations.
So, if for the sake of our audience, how does it work? Prana has now tied up with Tata Memorial Hospital and then the other hospitals in the country, is it? The
Yes,
blood and the blood banks.
that's correct. So just as we did for plasma, we have a form which is available on a link on our website, on our Instagram, on all the WhatsApp appeals that have been going out pan India, especially as we celebrate World Blood Donor Day and month. 14th June is celebrated as World Blood Donor Day, and the theme for this year has been Give Blood, Keep the World Beating. And it's just so appropriate because that's what all our donors and supporters have done for us these past few months. And we really want to make June a big start and a leap to keep India beating. So the first step would be to register as a blood and blood products. By that I mean platelet donor on our website or on the link. We do a preliminary screen of the data that you share with us. And whenever there is a need for blood and platelets, we would call upon you to donate at the hospital where it is required. And more so, we are trying to make it again comfortable, easy, and convenient. So it would be at a blood bank in the vicinity. A second thrust of our efforts is to organize blood donation camps. And I'm very, very happy and grateful to ARC India, who organized a tri-city blood donation camp in Hyderabad, Pune, and Mumbai over 13th and 14th of June. And we actually had 176 donors come forward. This is absolutely an epic moment in COVID times that they came forward and donated blood. So these are two ways. So we are looking at individual donors as well as corporate and institutional support to conduct blood donation camps on site. So
the blood donation with when it is like normal times, how do we do as a country, Maria, on blood donation? Do we do well? Are we, what kind of donor rates do we have? And has COVID, has it impacted adversely blood donation because of fears, etc.?
yes, absolutely. Uh, well, our needs are approximately 11 to 12 million blood units per year, and our shortfall is in the range of approximately 1 to 2 million units. Of course, COVID has impacted it in a very big way because of the lockdown restrictions. It 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 created not only donation averse individuals, but also the fear of stepping forward, going into a hospital or a blood bank, and the fear of getting COVID again has
Yeah.
deterred many donors. Having said that, we also saw a slight dip in need over COVID times because, as you know, most hospitals were taken over as COVID wards,
Yeah.
and regular requirements for elective procedures and surgeries reduced. But
Yeah.
we have emergency needs, accident, trauma, people bleeding out. We
Yeah.
have those who need donations on a regular basis, cancer patients, those with thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, and other blood dyscrasias. So we have blood required on a day-to-day basis. For Tata Memorial Hospital, they almost need 2,000 blood donors and 500 platelet donors every month. That is their regular need. Of course, their need is one of the highest in the country. But the idea is to make blood like plasma universally accessible so that recipients, their families are not stressed to over this issue. It is life saving for their loved one, but we don't want to pass on the stress to them for them to have to use their energy looking out for donors. That's what Prana is here for in this second phase.
Amazing. And this love life, and one more word you said.
Gift, love, and life. Yes, to keep India beating.
Beautiful line.
Thank you.
So what do you see as some of the things that need to be done so more people come forward, and maybe they come forward at a younger age? How can this become like a behavior change, like a adoption, saying maybe so many days in the year I almost have like a calendar for blood donation. I'm just imagining, to say.
Absolutely.
Uh, so
Um,
are there any practices that we've seen in other countries to mobilize more blood donation? Have some strategies worked? Do we know?
I think donating blood comes from a feeling of I want to help another. And here we are, we really want to mobilize the youth and kindle the spirit of selflessness in them at a young age and make them ambassadors to go home, talk about it with their parents, talk about it with their family and friends, and grow the network of blood donors. So we specifically want to work with colleges and the NSS units, because they're, as it is committed to social service, and mobilize support there. We want the youth also to come forward as volunteers, because I have noticed with work in plasma that when they joined us as volunteers, they became individual ambassadors for Prana and grew it in more ways than I can imagine from all of their own efforts. And a third way would be to spread awareness. I think if each one of us talks about it, takes this message, remember your one blood donation can save 3 lives. And how does that happen? Blood contains plasma, platelets, and red blood cells. And they can be separated out from that unit that you donate and reach 3 different recipients, bringing hope and light to 3 families.
So when someone needs blood, Maria, they need the red blood corpuscles?
No, they could need whole blood. They could need just RBC. We call it a packed RBC units, specifically to bring up hemoglobin and correct anemias. There could be those who are suffering from a bleed out because their platelet counts are low, whether it's from infectious diseases, especially with cancer patients, especially those undergoing chemotherapy, which suppresses the bone marrow and doesn't let it produce platelets. And these patients can bleed out and die because of a lack of a platelet transfusion. So that's how platelet donations are just as valuable on their own, apart from whole blood donations. We can harvest platelets from whole blood, but the concentrate of platelets that we get in a platelet donation is 5 times that of 1 unit of blood. So, and the third component of blood is plasma. So that unit is separately harvested and given to patients who need components of plasma, those with bleeding disorders, low levels of proteins. This is all apart from COVID. Plasma was being used for COVID, but it has uses way beyond COVID as well.
How does the donor donate platelets? What's the process? What's the protocol?
Okay. Unlike blood donations, where we can go out at blood donation camps, and in the early non-COVID days, we could even do it in blood donor vans, platelet donations can only be done in a hospital setup, because the process is through an apheresis machine which separates your blood, and we give back your components to you and only keep back platelets with a little bit of plasma to hold it. And this takes around 2 hours round trip for the entire donation. In contrast, a blood donation, whether it is done at a hospital or at a blood donation camp, the actual donation just takes 10 to 15 minutes. And pre-registration and medical history and other procedures will add on a couple of minutes more. So within half an hour, you are done with. So the platelet donation process is a little more laborious, and can be done only in a hospital setup, but extremely valuable.
So, it's really wonderful how quickly you have pivoted from after this change in the regulation to moving to platelets and to blood. How long did it take you to do this pivot at Prana, Maria?
We actually, as I said, already had a fraction of our donors who were not eligible to donate plasma at the outset, or as they donated plasma, lost their ability to donate it, and were already transferred into a blood and platelet registry. And as I said, fortunately, we had already moved this effort forward to support Tata Memorial Save a Life project in March. So we were kind of there. And so all it took was a couple of days. We had to communicate to each and every one of our donors that the sun has set on prana plasma, but that doesn't mean you can't save lives anymore. You are going to contribute to keeping India beating with your blood and platelet donors. And so we just got them to register on the new link for blood and platelet donors and move them almost, yes, it just took 3 to 4 days from that announcement.
Amazing. And I remember there was this, you had a large number of people who came forward and they were, I think, repeatedly donating, right? I think I've seen some posts where there were some individuals who had done like maybe 7, 8 times even.
Deepa, I didn't stop there. What has touched us at Prana is this ocean of selflessness just gushing out from our plasma donors. One of our donors has donated for the 13th time. When he was at his 10th donation, I did tell Bhavesh, this is it, Bhavesh, no more. He said, no, doctor, as long as I can do it, I will remind you every 15 days. Plasma can be donated like platelets every 15 days. I will remind you, here is my 15th day. Where are you sending me? Who needs my life saving plasma? And like Bhavesh, yes, you're right. We've had 7 times, 8 times, a doctor donating for the 9th time in Bangalore. So there has been no limit to the self-sacrifice and generosity of our donors. Very, very grateful to them. I can never stop saying thank you because you know that prana, the heartbeat of prana is our donors. So
Yeah.
without them, we are nothing. And they have just come forward. Every day, I just get messages saying, how do we do it? How do we save lives with prana? And it has been such a driving force for the whole team to read these messages from donors, from recipients with their gratitude, really has kept us flowing.
At what frequency can the person donate platelets?
Platelets, exactly like plasma, can be donated every 15 days. You would be tested at the outset at that particular center for a whole gamut of tests. And when you come back again to that center, you won't be tested again. So every 15 days to a maximum of 24 times a year, the National Blood Transfusion Council permits platelet donations. Blood donations have a deferral period of 3 months for males and 4 months for females. You can only donate blood, let's say for males, 4 times in a year. But remember, each of your blood donations helps 3 families. So you can typically help 12 families in the year.
Amazing. And so here again, what's the kind of difference between like is there like a optimal age group, like an age window when people should be donating blood and plasma and platelets? I beg your pardon.
Yes, we do have a gamut of eligibility criteria for donors. Our form actually contains the basic criteria, and then when we have a follow-up call from a volunteer and the doctors, we go a little in depth. I will touch upon the basic criteria and the COVID-related criteria at this time.
Please.
So, yes. So the basic criteria, of course, age 18 to 60. We need a weight of above 45 kgs. Or we need you to be in good health and completely symptom free. If it is COVID, it has got to be 28 days after complete recovery of all COVID symptoms. We need you also not to be taking any regular prescription medicine. We notice that the deferrals increase, but at this point, I do have to say several diabetics and hypertensives do donate blood. And this is on a case-to-case basis that the doctors will assess at the camp, and Prana will assess through the intake form as well. So diabetics and hypertensives who are well controlled on their medication for 30 days with no change can donate. Diabetics on insulin cannot donate.
Ah,
Another, yes, another deferral would be having received blood products. You cannot donate for a whole year.
okay.
If you've had, yes, a major surgery or
Mhm.
a major dental procedure like a root canal, we have a deferral period of 1 year. If you've had any body piercing, any tattoos, anything that could bring in a bloodborne pathogen into your body, we do ask that you stay away from donating at least for a year. Some centers do have a 6 month deferral period. It's a case to case basis again. For COVID, we do request all those vaccinated to wait for 14 days after
Okay.
any dose. That is the restriction, and that you must be completely symptom free for 28 days after recovery from COVID to be able to donate either blood or platelets.
Maria, now that this uh, phase, so Prana 2.0 has sort of taken off, and you already are into the process of educating and informing. What's the next thing on the cards? We just have maybe 4 minutes, but I do want you to touch upon what is it that you are dreaming up for the next.
Thank you, Deepa. Yes, you can see the excitement in my eyes because Prana has just made me propel from one to another. And the next big thrust and effort is going to be on Prana mental health support. You would see that in our logo with the green ribbon to support anyone emotionally struggling in the pandemic and beyond. We did start off with 10 webinars, 10 pillars of positivity, touching on topics like anxiety, elderly care, hope, meditation, career health. But we want to do more. We hope to form support groups. We hope to develop a mental health helpline. We hope to have free counseling sessions for our Prana family members. So that is a really big dream, and we hope in the next 6 months to put it all together. Prana is also extremely uh, uh, focused on safety and prevention in the pandemic. And we have a mask survey for which we are beginning analyzing our data from college students in Mumbai as a pilot to understand their mask wearing behavior and how to improve and protect them better. So these are the two projects which are ongoing and going to flourish in the coming 6 months.
So for the mental health, Prana mental health, you already have done seminars, and at this stage, are you sort of putting a network of experts together, or what stage are you in developing that program?
Yes, we are. We have a robust group of, I want to say, up to 30 counselors, psychiatrists already been on board since last September with Prana and supporting us. But yes, we would be looking at a much larger network to be able to support. So at this stage, I want to appeal to anyone who's listening in. Prana needs you on several fronts: volunteers for the Gift, Love and Life project, experts and volunteers on the mental health side, college students sign in to our masks survey. It will be on until the end of the month, and then we will start collating the data. So we need you. We can't do this alone. We can all keep India beating together with your help.
Amazing, Maria, and I really sort of doff my hat at your passion and your commitment, and the way you and your team have been at it, literally day after day, and we have been in touch over the many months, and I think your team of social media experts has also grown with volunteers and young people putting up their hands to support, isn't it?
Yes,
Oh,
extremely grateful, Deepa. It begins with you. Lumiere and your torch got us going in September. This absolutely awesome group of prana warriors or volunteers, as we call them, working night and day, yes, to get out social media messages, answer Instagram posts for plasma requests, spread the word, make sure that no request goes unanswered, and of course you and all the prana pillars that we've had both in the corporate world as well as at an individual level, supporting, encouraging prana to grow and save more lives.
Amazing. And with that, we come to the close of this session. Prana now has one additional logo with a green ribbon to support mental health, along with the red drop, which is blood and blood products. So, for all of us who are watching this show, as well as those who will watch this event later, there is a easy, accessible way to reach out to Prana, where you can participate in what is a movement of sorts to keep India beating. So, with that, I'd like to thank you, Maria, once again for making time to come and do this Torchbearer Thursday with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepa. Thank you. A very big thank you. And thank you, all of you listening in. Come be a part of Prana.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.